Hello everyone and welcome back after the hiatus. Yeah, last week was a bit complex with Easter and everything going on, so I didn't really post anything. I basically took it as a bit of a break and got some stuff done that I otherwise just like leave open. So yeah. And today we're back. I've worked on another inlay. Those of you who already know my videos know that I am a really big fan of jewelry of many different kinds. And right there I'm starting with a with the center piece, basically, from which everything else goes out. And what I wanted to do is basically something similar to the logo of the Olympics, like the rings that are interconnected or that grab with each other. And at first I noticed, okay, if I do these rings further up, they will actually enter a bit on the same height. So I wanted them a bit lower, so I basically had to start a bit lower with the extrusion tools. So tools are really the basic tools. We're working with extrusion, we're working with thickening, but since this is a bit slower than usual, I have more time to look into some details. So one thing that I noticed that is sometimes a bit complex is making points, or making pointy ends and then spiky ends. If you smooth this down, especially if you thicken this before. So what I started doing is basically, for one, you see the sharp angle on which the points skip or clip away, like the last few faces basically have a very sharp turn, and also the pointy end is really sharply made here. Mind you, this is all in 4 times the speed. Usually we are much faster, so this is actually really a slower video. And the making this took about 45 minutes to actually finish, all in all, and it's really just this part. I might make a video next on the weekend about playing around in DAS with multiple shaders and stuff. So basically, just what I did before is I played around with shaders and with textures, also on Genesis 2 female. So the last picture that you might have seen is the blue-skinned creature, and yeah, I took a lot of time to actually play around with this. So I might make a video about this on the weekend, depending on how other things progress and what else happens. So after making the form that I wanted in 2D, I started on a very random point, basically in the middle of this, and I adjusted this to the body, to Genesis 2 female. And you can see that I'm using the connect tool. Basically, I'm grabbing a few edges and then pressing the connect tool, which cuts these edges in the middle, which basically just helps me add some more edges and add some more faces, or create more faces, so that I can actually put this better to the body. I have to at some point retouch this because it's not close enough to the body for my tastes, and the idea is that it's embedded in the skin, which it isn't. Actually, I read up on this on the weekend we currently do not have the technology to actually embed metal to the skin like this. Yeah, we simply can't. We can basically pierce the skin for piercings, but we can't embed metal into the skin without major damage to the human body at least. So yeah, this will stay a fantasy, a 3D fantasy for a bit longer. But hey, I can make this fantasy come to reality at least without hurting anyone. So yeah, yay me, I guess. And yeah, you can see that I'm still really adding a lot of different faces and edges. So basically, after the first draft of the form, you can say that basically the rings and the extrusion of the form, there's still a lot of form to add. What I also use, as you could have as you just saw, is basically so basically there's two ways to grab a few edges, like the loop, which basically when you press L, when you have a face or a edge selected, you can press L, which grabs the neighboring edges in the same order. So you can basically grab a whole group of edges that give a ring, hence the name loop. Or you can press K, which basically grabs all the parallel edges, which is what I'm usually using. You can see this in a second. Whenever I try to connect this, basically here you can see that I'm just grabbing them selectively and using the connect tool, and then I'm grabbing them with K with the parallel tool basically, and then I connect them as well to have this subdivision. Mainly I need this subdivision here so that I can work closer to the body. So you see that the Genesis to female has a lot of faces, obviously, and if I do not match the same amount of faces in my models, then of course there will be some overlap, there will be some clipping, and to reduce or negate that clipping I have to basically add more faces. So I'm trying to not have a model that has the same amount of faces as Genesis to female, because that is a lot, especially if I want to smooth it down. But yeah, I have to basically add more edges and more faces to at least have a proper connection to this, or a proper inlay proper with this. Other than that, you can see that I'm basically finished with the form. I'm just fixing the last few instances here, basically the tips on the very top of this form. And I thought about adding jewelry, like adding maybe some half rings and some either chains or something else. And I'm still mulling that over, but on that day when I finished that, I was basically happy with finishing up on this point. And basically I just made the metal version and left it at that, because I wasn't completely sure what I actually wanted to add. So I was thinking about, do I want to add jewels, gems? Do I want to add little chains and connections, and work it that way? Do I want to have connections between these lines and basically have it more like a web? And since I hadn't decided what to do, or since I still haven't decided which of these options I want to go with, I basically left it at the initial base stage here. But yeah, these kinds of jewelry is really something I enjoy watching or enjoy seeing. Yeah, and this is the base form. Next is actually the smoothing, and that's basically it for this model so far. There will be a second time when I actually add more details, which will probably not be a complete video because it will not take that much time, but we'll see about it. Yeah, there's the thickening. Then I'll grab again with the parallel loop tool all the edges and connect some more edges into it before I smooth it down. And yeah, that's basically the current standing of this moment. So we will have the lastly, I obviously have to make a UV map, so I basically just grab all the edges and cut it into 2 pieces. But that's it actually for the model. Enjoy the render at the end, and I hope I will catch you around in the next video. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and see you guys around.